flash of an explosion, or nice, slow burn.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to another complete character history. Today, we are going to be looking at Gotham City's worst arsonist, Garfield Lynns, aka Firefly. Let's not waste any time. Garfield Lynns was born sometime in either the late 70s or early 80s. We don't know much about his childhood, but I think it's safe to say that he didn't grow up in the best of conditions due to where he ended up in life. Garfield probably spent a lot of his free time in his early years sitting next to fireplaces, playing with matches, and other red flags synonymous with arsonists. When Garfield was old enough, he landed a job at Panessa Studios where he worked as a special effects artist for movies. This job allowed him to work hands-on with pyrotechnics, giving him a deeper knowledge of the art of working with fire. But everything started to fall apart with the release of Panessa Studios' latest project, a movie titled The Inferno. Despite winning multiple awards and getting pretty good reviews, the movie bombed financially. This was a huge blow to the production company, and the owner of the studio was forced to start firing people to save money. And of course, Garfield would be one of those unlucky few. But he was expecting this. After he saw the box office numbers for the film, he knew that it would be people like him who would be punished, and not the top executives making all the decisions. So, he hatched a plan to get revenge on his soon-to-be former boss. When the owner called Garfield into his office to break the news to him, he fired him while casually opening a box full of expensive cigars. Garfield offered to light it for him, and as he was doing that, spit a mouthful of nitroglycerine towards him. His boss was immediately engulfed in flames, and pretty soon after, died. But, for whatever reason, Garfield didn't go to prison. It's possible that there was no evidence that tied the owner's death to Lynns. Anyway, if Garfield didn't have an obsession with fire before, he definitely had one now. But unfortunately for him, he was now unemployed. He now not only needed a job, but he wanted one that would let him work with fire. And he found just that when he enlisted in the military. At some point in his career, he got access to a flamethrower, and while using it, it malfunctioned, and Garfield was covered in flames. Because of this, he was discharged, but now he was in full-on pyromaniac mode. As soon as he got back to Gotham, he got himself a new flamethrower, along with a military-grade jetpack and a flight suit. It's not completely clear as to how he got this stuff, but I'm betting he got it from the Penguin. And this is when he started to call himself by his new name, Firefly. Anyway, from here until 2001, he built up a pretty lengthy rap sheet which included 178 counts of arson, 4 counts of first-degree murder, and 10 counts of robbery. As far as we know, he was never caught by the police for any of this, and that's probably due to how difficult he is to catch with his jetpack. One night, Firefly was approached by a man representing the crime lord Black Mask. He gave him an envelope with an offer, one night to kill a so-called Batman. If he succeeds, he gets $50 million. Firefly had heard rumors of a bat creature attacking criminals, but he wasn't sure if he was even real. But still, this seemed like easy money to him. Money like that could be used for more equipment, fuel, and other acts of arson. So he accepted the offer and started to create a plan that would not only kill this mysterious Batman, but allow him to pull off his biggest act of arson yet. And after only a few months, he had come up with the perfect plan. He would attack the Gotham Pioneers Bridge, take hostages, and set up bombs on the major weak points of the bridge. He even hired some muscle to help him. This would be his biggest stunt yet. It just needed some time to set up. On the night of Christmas Eve, Firefly received an invitation to the Royal Hotel from Black Mask himself. Apparently, it was mandatory that all the assassins be there. When he got there, it was revealed to him that the man who hired him was not Black Mask, but a new villain calling himself the Joker. This didn't really matter, as while this was happening, Firefly's men were at the Gotham Pioneers Bridge setting up the bombs. Firefly was almost ready to make his grand attack. As soon as the meeting was adjourned, he flew right over to the bridge to oversee the preparations. Finally, everything was set. The bombs were ready and the hostages were trapped within the bridge. He made the oncoming GCPD officers aware that if anyone stepped foot on this bridge, he would detonate the bombs. A few minutes later, he spotted a jet that he knew belonged to Batman. Now that he was here, he ordered his men to start the timers on the bombs. This way, even if he failed at killing the Bat, the bombs would still go off without him having to manually detonate them. Lynn started to chase the Batwing around for the next 30 minutes before realizing that Batman wasn't even inside the thing. When he flew back to the bridge, he saw Batman attacking his men. Firefly attempted to take him out here, but it didn't work, and Batman was able to knock them all out. Batman then told Firefly that the Joker was now behind bars and he wouldn't get any prize money from killing him. But Garfield didn't care. Yeah, it sucked that he wouldn't be getting those $50 million, but the pyromaniac inside him just couldn't let an opportunity like this go. After this, Batman backclawed himself onto Garfield, and after a batarang to the hand, he dropped the detonator to the bombs. He then started to attack Batman straight on, using a combination of his flamethrower and some incendiary grenades. This didn't work though, as Batman was able to counter him with batarangs and glue grenades. But then Garfield spotted the detonator on the ground and quickly picked it up before Batman could get to it. The fight had gone on long enough. It was time to end it. And, much to Batman's dismay, he pushed the button. But nothing happened. For some reason, all of his bombs were deactivated. This enraged Firefly, and he proceeded to rush the Dark Knight. And after a short fight, Batman grappled himself towards him and destroyed his jetpack, causing him to crash on top of the bridge. Batman then punched him a few times, knocking him out before stringing him up for the cops to find. Garfield was then sent straight to Blackgate Penitentiary, probably to serve a life sentence. Garfield was eventually transferred to a newly opened Arkham Asylum where, for the next few years, he received treatment from a Dr. Penelope Young. According to Dr. Young herself, Lynns was too far gone in his pyromania and needed some more experimental treatments. But those treatments would never come, as he would somehow find a way to break out of the asylum. Knowing how much of a target he was to Batman and the GCPD, he laid very low for the next few years. And because of this, he missed the events of Arkham Asylum and Arkham City. Firefly was eventually found by a man named Raymond Underhill. But instead of turning him in, he gave him a list of empty buildings that he can burn down. Why? Well, you see, Raymond was a fire chief in charge of Gotham City's Station 17. Because of the fallout of Arkham City, the city had to do some massive budget cuts, which meant that his station was going to be shut down. That meant that he and his men were all going to lose their jobs. Garfield could probably sympathize with him, as he was also once a man in fear of losing his job. Usually, Lynns hates firefighters. In fact, he pretty much hates anything that could put out a fire. But this was an opportunity to satisfy his pyromania without the risk of being caught by Batman or the police. Later on, Firefly received a message from his former fellow Arkham inmate, Scarecrow. He told him that on Halloween, Gotham would be defenseless and he would be free to burn anything he liked. This was great news to him, so he picked out the perfect spots to burn. Firefly started his rampage on Gotham by burning down the one place that might put a stop to him, the fire stations. He did this by first disabling the sprinkler system and then burning everything from the inside. But he was then made aware that Station 17, along with Chief Underhill, were in Gotham with the intent to put out fires. This was seen as an act of betrayal to Lynns, and he attacked their fire truck with all of them in it, leaving them to die to the rampaging criminals in the streets. He then flew back to the Bristol fire station to continue his work. As he was burning it down, the sprinkler system went back online and all of his fires were put out. As he flew outside to see what was happening, he saw Batman in his new Batmobile. A chase then ensued, concluding with Batman beating him up a bit before he managed to escape. This happened 2 more times at the Cauldron Fire Station and the Otisburg Fire Station, with the latter resulting in Batman commandeering his jetpack. He was then forcefully flown to the GCPD station and was imprisoned there for the next few days. And that's pretty much it. As to where he went after that, probably either Blackgate or a newly remodeled Arkham Asylum if they ever decide to rebuild that. But he did break out once before, so it's pretty safe to say that he could do it again. But what do you think of this guy? Is he a cooler, interesting villain, or do you think he's more of a one-trick pony? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. And of course, as always, thank you for watching. Remember to like it if you liked it, subscribe if you really liked it, and I'll see you next time.